Well, cPanel has this a directory called CGI-sys, and they named it that instead of CGI bin. And inside there, there's a script called entropy search.cgi, and it takes an argument called user. So, for example, if I could do this, this comes up here. So what this is doing is, you can see there that I get a /root, if you guys can see that. But if I do it for a username that doesn't exist, I get just the /.html templates. So this is basically username enumeration, but there's a twist to it. And the twist is that we're getting the home directories of the users. So when I showed root a second ago, it brought up /root. If I bring up, let's see, /nobody, their home directory /, that's why it's got 2 slashes there. You notice that? So if it's a user that doesn't exist, again, it'll be just the /.html templates by itself once it loads. Well, anyway, so I wrote a script that will basically take the most common usernames and enumerate them all for you automatically. So let me just run this. Does anybody have any idea why you're able to see the home directory of the user in addition to just doing username enumeration? Any guesses? Okay, basically it's using a glibc function called getPWNAM, which extracts information from the password file. So, like, if you did a CHFN, like you were going to change the finger information for somebody, and, like, you know, change their username, their name, their phone number, you know, where their office is, all that kind of stuff. That's what getPWNAM does. And I'm going to demonstrate that here with this screencast. So this is the actual exploit running against that host that I was just showing you guys. I know the Ruby path's a little whack, but it was under development. So there it goes, and it's just going through with like every common username. See, there's cPanel at the top. I can see that their home directories var cPanel, user home /cPanel, whatever. There's MySQL's home directory, you know, pretty much every user's home directory you could want. So in addition to verifying that the user actually exists, you're also getting their home directory. It's pretty interesting. So I'm also going to go through the getPWNAM manual page on here to show you guys exactly what's going on. So this is the call that it's using right here. And there's a struct. And inside that struct is a C-style string that has the home directory in there. So right there, you can see where it has home directory car star pw_dir. That's the variable that we're extracting, and it's showing to us. And this is pretty much just the rest of the man page. So everybody understand what's going on there? More or less, okay. I accept that. So who's familiar with web application firewalls? Or actually, before we get into that, let me show you the actual source code for that exploit. So this is the actual source code that was doing the home door enumeration. And that URL there that it's using as an example is cPanel's live demo site, which this also works on. And this is the actual Ruby Ronin library that I wrote that the exploit's using. That HTTP get body call there is actually from Ruby Ronin. And the reason I strip out space/.html templates is because that just signifies the user doesn't exist. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Now, who knows what a web application firewall is? Like Cloudflare or Mod Secure or Encapsula. Well, I found something sort of interesting with Encapsula. Basically, what you can do here is, let me bring up the URL. It's got to be HTTPS. Okay, there it is. Okay, now if you'll see, actually right here, it says the admin of this site now requires users who blah blah blah, and it's basically talking about the CAPTCHA and two-factor authentication. But if I change this site ID get query variable right here, oh oops, sorry about that. Let's try another one. I actually get another site there. So what this allows you to do, the long and short of it, is that you can get their entire client list by simply enumerating over that number. And I did a binary search to determine how many there was of them, and there's about 270,000, I believe. So I wrote a script that actually does that, which I can show you guys in action. So it sort of goes like this. And it just goes on and on and on. Now, I thought that one was kind of interesting. Somebody decided to use pi as a domain name. I don't know. To each their own, I guess. So this just goes on forever. And there's actually a couple other interesting issues with Encapsula as well. But before we get into that, let me show you the source code that's actually extracting these host names that are basically Encapsula's clients. So yeah, it just goes on and on and on and on. See how long it is. Let me skip ahead and make sure I didn't put anything else in here. Okay. So here's the source code that I use to perform that. And this is also using Ruby Ronin. And the reason I made this class a singleton was because I didn't want people to be able to just, you know, throw so many requests at the site that it wouldn't be able to handle it. And it's also using persistent HTTP connections, so that way it doesn't have to make a separate connection for each request. It just stays connected and keeps making requests. Makes it a little bit faster. So that's the code. Any got any questions about this before I move on? Questions?
You have this project up in
I need to gem it up, but it's going to be on my GitHub. It's github.com/decal. Like decal, like a sticker.
Okay.
So it's actually that's it right there. That's my GitHub. So anyway, there's also some other, if I can get this right, there's some other yeah. So this is another variable and script that Encapsula uses that you can actually use to enumerate their error messages, which is kind of interesting. So I got request failed, connection failed, resolving failed, and it goes up and up and up. And there's this is their actual admin console login page. It's the two-factor authentication, SSL connection failure. So yeah, you could enumerate that too. And where the combinatorics would come in here is that this get variable here, CWUD that actually, there's a lot of different permutations of that. So I could change that to like CWUD NSAB or CWUD NSAC, etc., etc. So there's a bunch of those, and then each one of those takes a bunch of numbers as well. So one more thing that was pretty interesting I noticed about Encapsula was if you throw like an attack string at it, like purposefully, then it'll block you out. So let's go ahead and try sending we'll send a double URL encoded directory traversal or something like that. Okay. Oops. Did I not do that right? Okay. Actually, you might have to do this against the site that's actually running it. Yeah, blocked. Okay. So if I go back. Yep, see, now I tried to go back to that site where it would show you like the actual client name, and it's saying access denied because I just threw that attack string at it. Well, this is using same origin policy, and to evade same origin policy, you can simply add a period after the URL. And the reason it's giving me this is because the host name doesn't match the SSL certificate. So I'm just going to tell it, yeah, it's okay. And it should let me back in. Yep, here it goes. As soon as it loads up. And there we are. We're back at the screen, and I just bypassed the same origin policy, even though it blocked me for throwing that attack string at it. So, that's pretty much the presentation. You guys got any questions? Okay, that time's up anyway. If anybody wants to talk about like Ronin or combinatorics, we can do LobbyCon afterwards. I'll be here for an hour or two. Okay.